All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tavern of Camelot. This is podcast number 2. We got a pretty big guest coming on today. We don't usually. I wasn't really gonna do, these types of people in the first place, but I got convinced into it, and after talking to him outside of the stream, it went pretty well. So I'm gonna give a big announcement to Timbuktu, the LBG leader. So we're gonna go ahead and drag him in here, and if you guys got any questions, make sure to go ahead and comment them, and we'll shout them out for you. Make sure to leave a like and a follow on the stream too. That'd be great. We have a Twitter down below too. YouTube, go ahead and subscribe. That'd be great. All right, we're gonna hop right into it.
Hey.
All right.
Out.
So our special guest today is Timbuktu. We're gonna go ahead and announce everybody here. So I'm Art, your host. We have our boy to the left right here, Tone, aka the Latin Lover.
What's up, baby?
What's up? What's up? Okay, we got Marty, aka Biff, down here,
Yo, hey Tim.
and then we got Jay over here to the right, always on heels, aka Small Loop, please.
Small loop.
Small loop. Hey guys, I need a small loop, please.
And then we got Timbuktu here, our BG leader. How you doing,
What's up,
Tim?
y'all? Good. Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Oh man, it's
Welcome
a big pleasure for us, man.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for coming.
Much obliged.
Of course, I couldn't
Come on.
turn it down.
All right, so Tim, I got a question just before we get everything popping, everything else. How long have you been in Saints Without Mercy?
So, I'll probably get into it when you ask about my history of the game. But when I started the game, 2019, that's when I joined the guild. My main character, that is.
Okay, sweet.
Nice. That's awesome. You said 2019, huh?
Yep, that's my start date.
Dude, that's really right. So like a lot of the folks that have been playing this and have kind of endured a long time, you're coming in a little bit later to the game. So I can't wait to hear your take and your path on it. Tell us a little bit about that, man. We'll jump to that question right now because we do want to know a little bit about your backstory. You started in 2019. Was it always Albion? And who got you into a game that was already almost 20 years old by the time you showed up?
Yeah, for sure. So, interestingly, Dark Age of Camelot has been in my family since as long as I can remember. And it's mostly, my grandpa has been playing it from day one. So I kind of just, we used to play back in the day. Nothing special. I had, I think we'll get into the characters later, so I'll do that later. But
Okay.
just playing with him back in the day, and just messing around. I had no idea what I was doing. It's another game, but it's
Yeah.
something he always played, and that if you bring it up, anyone in my family, everyone knows. We associate with him, and now, of course, with me. But
Yeah.
we even made him a sign one year for his birthday. But anyway, he got me into the game, and actually, I had a period of not playing games for a while after college and starting work and stuff.
Yeah.
And 2019, he's like, oh hey, they have a free to play version because he knows I'm cheap too. So, Endless Conquest. I was like, all right, you know what? I'll fire it up. I'll play. And then at this point, I had no PC, right? So
Right.
I was going off of a free Dell computer I got, and it could barely run anything except Dark Age of Camelot, And I was using
Nice.
like a 12-inch TV, and like the cheap, like the free, Dell, peripherals. So it was a pretty horrible setup. And I was mostly playing as a joke for my grandpa. I was like, yeah, I'll play it every once in a while. We'll, just hang out a bit. And yeah, it sort of went off from there. But 2019 was my start date. So Endless Conquest was like when I really got into the game. And I can remember it took me, because I was doing it really slowly and just kind of solo
Yeah.
leveling. And I didn't level 50 for, a couple months. I was just kind of like, every other night or so, I'd log in and be like, oh yeah, I'll just fight some snakes or do some quests, because I'm into like the RPGs and stuff. So I was like, reading through the story, and that stuff kind of interests me. Obviously now PvE in this game is like, I can't do it.
Kind of robust.
But it was like kind of like the nostalgia, just like playing it
Yeah.
again, and
Bro,
that's
you're like a
that's
true
how
throwback.
yeah. So I've been around the game forever, but like I said, I haven't got into it seriously until then, and I can remember, because I didn't know Rescue, but at that point, but I could always hear him when I was watching my grandpa play, and I would be, like I'd always make fun. I'd be like, hey, you should lead. I'd tell my grandpa like, hey, you should lead one night, and he's like, no, I can never do it. And I was like, oh, it'd be easy. And at that point, I was like, oh, I would never. That would never
Yeah.
happen to me, right?
Bro, how old were you when you were having that conversation with him?
I came and it's probably been how old's the game? Probably like 15 plus years ago. So
Oh, dude.
So,
Man,
Tim, I don't know if you know this, but my grandmother actually used to run with Rescue and Z and all of them back in the day. And
oh wow,
yeah, I sat there and
Who-
I watched them do dragon raids and RVRs. Her name's Anita. I don't know what her in-game character was. I also had my cousin used to play with you guys as well, Steeple. Timothy.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
if you guys know by name, but
yeah. No, I think I know your grandma. She might even be in. She was in the Saints Guild, right?
yep, yeah, she was.
Was there one of her names Myth?
It sounds familiar, but I know her and Z used to chat all the time and Rescue and all of them.
Yep, Z's my grandpa. If you didn't guess yet, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
That
I was about to ask that.
I
Dude,
was
so
gonna
y'all
leave it
could
till
have
the end,
been.
but
Oh,
no,
yeah.
hey, that's cool that you guys are making these connections and everything like that. So, all right. So now my real quick question is, what are you drinking right now, Tim?
So, obviously, earlier I was at a hockey game, and as you do, you got to go Canada. So I got a Labatt Blue, and now,
There you go.
now that I'm home, poured a nice pint of Guinness. Obviously, you got to pour it the right way.
other
It's
man.
not as good as it's not as good as like getting it straight from tap, but it is what it is. I got the Guinness glass and everything.
Damn,
so I'm good to
boys,
go.
Tim
There you
comes
go.
prepared.
Drinking
Yep.
some motor oil, proper glassware. Marty impressed, Tim.
I know. I was like, we have to talk about beer later, then, Marty. I was
Yeah,
saying in the
bro,
last
'cause-
podcast.
Yeah, man, I'm all about it, dude. I'm drinking a stout right now. It's called Puppy Chow. So I don't know if that's a cultural thing, but down here, I'm in Fort Worth, and like I don't know, at holidays people would make like Chex Mix, like all kind of variations, and they make this one like dessert Chex Mix where it's like covered in like powdered sugar and like chocolate syrup and stuff like that. Anyways, they turn that into a beer and with peanut butter and dude, it's crazy. It's so good.
Oh yeah, good.
But it's a
Yeah,
stout, chocolate stout, and dang, it's good.
chocolate. Chocolate stout's good. Peanut butter beer is good. That's
Oh, it's so good.
you can't go wrong with craft beer, man.
See, you guys.
No,
are beating
I
me.
didn't
I'm
know
just
that
a-
about you, Tim. I might be your biggest fan. Did we just become best friends?
I think
Do,
so.
do you
And,
want to
and
go
what
do
I
karate in the garage?
Yup.
what I do each night too, and no one usually gets my reference, but I kind of make fun. I'm just like, and I'll just be talking to myself as I'm leading the BG, and I'll be like, and tonight's BG sponsored by, and I'll just say whatever beer I'm drinking, and then someone might
Blue.
laugh in the BG, but most people probably don't know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about some weird beer that I just have, in the fridge drinking it. So
Dude, that's rad. That's hilarious, man. Dude, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, you
Sure
guys
thing.
are a little bit more cultured than me. I just have Bud Lights here.
I was gonna say, don't say that. Oh man.
We try to teach him not to say things like
Hey,
this.
I'm gonna second that. I'm also drinking Bud Light too. So
There's no excuse for Jay. He's too old for this. Lord
You guys
have
can
mercy.
have your water. That's fine.
Oh,
Oh,
man,
okay,
the shade
here we
is
go.
thrown.
Shots fired, baby. Shots fired.
Listen, you guys have any recommendations for beer? You go ahead and throw it up, and I'll order it.
There you go. There you
Copy
go.
that.
So if you
Yeah.
after the stream, go ahead, throw it in the Discord. I'll go ahead and order some, so that way the next time we do talk to you, I can have a little bit of background and tell you if it's shit.
Bro.
Or not.
Hey, but he still has a young palate though, so don't ride
Yeah.
on him so hard.
So Tim, you got good taste in beer. Do you also have good taste in food, like a sophisticated palate? Are you like a foodie?
Me personally, probably not.
Probably
I
not.
can't really. I can't really have too much. I got some health conditions where I can't really have anything with like acidic or anything, so I'm kind of just
Okay.
very plain. But it's
Very
like, all
plain.
right.
Okay.
But the one thing I can't give up is obviously my cold brew every morning, cold brew coffee, and
Ooh,
then I gotta have a beer at night with a game or
yeah.
tea or whatever. Although if I'm
Yeah.
doing the BG, most of the time I don't even finish the beer. It gets warm by the time because I'm playing. So it is what it is.
All right, now that
Yeah.
we're back on the topic of the game,
Of course.
I'm gonna throw the big question out. Why are you leading the LBG? It seems like it's like you're leading a bunch of stray cats. And I mean that in the most polite way. I run Alb with you all the time, and it's just so I hate to say it, but they don't want to listen like any of the other realms. Hib, when Hero says something, if he says jump, they say how high. League and Moy, if they're running it, I know it runs smooth. Merc as well, but it seems like if you're not on, there's no BG in the first place. And I was just wondering why are you running it? And by the way, I do appreciate you running it because it helps me get a
Yes.
lot of
Thanks.
RPs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was I started in, like I said, 2019, and I would say about 2020 or so, I kind of was filling in for Rescue every once in a while if he was away. And he had a very different schedule than me, where he would do Wednesdays through Sundays. And at a certain point, I think it was sometime last year. It might have been a little bit longer. I don't remember this precise time, but it was a bit longer than a year. But he kind of just got. I'm not really sure of his reasons for quitting, but he kind of just stepped away from the game. And I mean, I get it. He played for what, the whole time of the game, so about 20 years leading, all the time, and for that amount of time each week too. That's just a lot of pressure. I get it. I don't even. I do like a shortened version, and honestly, the last couple months for me, I've been busy personally, so I've had a tough time fitting the game into my schedule.
Right.
But I've been taking over. Like I said, I was the backup, and then I was doing more often. And then when he quit, I was like, well, I'll just keep running it. And I try to keep up with Rescue's pace, and I got to a happy medium where I was kind of doing Fridays to Sundays when I was available, right? So it's the thing with Alb. It's yes, it's technically probably the only class that I've mostly played. Um, just for my own uh personal preferences. I would like to play Midgard, but I might get disowned, so I can't do that. Although I do have a Thane and a Shaman, but anyway, um, so it's really just the people on Alb. Yes, some of them might just be on and off. Like they'll be on one week and I won't see them for a month. But you have the same core people that get on night after night, and when I get on, they're gonna be there with me for the most part, like the core groups that follow and listen. And what I had to do is kind of when I started, it was just Ventrilo, and Ventrilo, I didn't even know
Oof.
what it was. I didn't know what Discord was either, though. I wasn't really into the MMO gaming for a long time when I started. So I was like, okay, I'll do the Discord thing. So I what I do every night is I dual log. So I'll have Ventrilo and I'll have um, Discord open, so I can talk to the people that don't want to come over to Discord, and I can talk to the people on Discord that don't want to download Ventrilo. So I'm kind of filling in that balance. So it does get a little chaotic sometimes, but it's like you have the same people that get on every night, like I said, and just creating those friendships. And really, it's for me, it's just like, hey, we might not win every fight, we might not win every night, but when we do, it's going to be fun. And when people actually listen and we come through with a plan, like we can actually destroy people. So
So
it is what it is.
a couple weeks ago, I ran with you in the LBG, and I don't know what was going on. It seemed like we had the Zerg, we had everybody listening, and we were, pardon my French, but we were fucking mowing them down, bro. I mean, we were mowing Heroes Zerg down. Mids, they weren't even contesting what we were throwing at them, and it was probably one of the best times on Alb, and you were leading it.
Yeah, that was a fun fight. I know exactly what you're talking about, and it's those nights that kind of give me my spark back to play. Because sometimes we'll have like a couple weeks of just constantly losing and not having either the numbers or having people listening to my commands because because I have what I do is I kind of play way differently, at least from rescue. Um, I've never actually been in the
Thank you
channel
for that, by
like
the way.
I've never been in the channel with like Legan or Hero, so I'm not sure, other than like seeing what they do on the field, like I'm not sure what their exact strategies are, like that they're telling people, in the game. But I try to do like I feel like I'm a lot faster than most people, at least in the LBG. So I'm kind of like 10 steps ahead of everyone, right? So I'm just like, okay, let's port here right now. Let's go. But then like people are saying, oh, we got deadhead, and it's like, well, get on your horse and let's go. But you just gotta have to find that balance. And then some people are like, well, hurry up, and I'm like, I know my people. I know we gotta be a little bit slower, and yes, sometimes it's not the best because we'll lose a fight because we're too slow for it. But when we get that balance just right, and because the main thing is like I want to make sure everyone's with, because if we have our forces together and we have a good plan and we have the right plan of attack of if there's a fight happening at a tower, we hit it. If there's other two realms are there, we can probably win it if we coordinate well. It's really all
Bro,
about that.
on behalf of Albion and the DAOC community, thank you. Like you're bringing these people back together. Like when I took a 17-year break, when I came back and I started playing with Art and Tone and Jay or whatever, Old was like, they were like the New York Jets, man. They as soon as there was any kind of fight, they fold. You'd be like push, and they'd pull back immediately. Not you, but like any old BG leader. So the fact that you're bridging Ventrilo, and then Discord, the fact that you're just like, hey, get on your horse. We don't want to leave anybody left behind. The fact that you're still bringing this, like, we were a mess. And by the way, as of the tavern guys, like our favorite realm is Alb. Like this is where our home is. And so the fact that you're doing this for us, the fact that you're doing this for the DAO community, man, but on behalf of everybody, thank you.
Well, and
We're not always nice people. Alb
Well-
is not always nice people.
right. And then going back on that too, I think one of the reasons like me and the boys, like Alb so much is because you are leading the BG in such a great way. Just real quick question. Your favorite Zerg moment, either as a backup Zerg leader or as the main Alb Zerg leader. What's your favorite Zerg moment of all time?
Oh, that's a good one. So we had a battle I call it the Battle of Taco Bell. And it was a night where it was pretty rough to start, okay? And I was leading. And I think we had Benno, but we had not one but two hit BGs, and then the mid BG was out there and about. We had a big, awesome fight at Taco Bell, that place right south of Benno.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what we call it anyway. South of the OCC bridge. Big fight there, and it lasted at least maybe 15, 20 minutes. And like I said, we had both of the BGs there, but we also had two of the HIB BGs, because they were separated. We had Jedi, we had Hero, and we were fighting around that building there, and somehow fought it through. And at the end of it, it's like, yeah, let's chase them down. No survivors here. That's another thing too. I say it's like, if we're getting pushed, it's like, I always say never surrender. No running. We're gonna hold the line here. And the people that do every night with me, you'll see them down. If we're gonna get run over, it's like, well, hey, we're not gonna get away. It's Albion. There's like no minstrels. It is what it is. But it's like, you back people into a corner, you might be able to win that fight. You get that. If you have nowhere to physically run, what you're gonna do is focus on the fight. So sometimes you just got to put people in that situation.
Yeah, that was a good one. I want to say I was playing with you when that happened. But anyways, we're gonna switch it up a little bit. We're gonna so we've had all these events, some of them good, some of them bad. Do you have any favorite events that we've done, like the Ruined Keeps or the Labby event, Brain Redonia, Caledonia, any of those? Do you have any of those?
Yeah, you've led some of those and some of the BG events too. What do you think about those?
Well, I'll have to say it's a toss-up, because the Cathal Valley one, when we could bring our level 50s in, that was awesome.
Yeah, it
Mhm.
was.
not having to create a new character, and I mean, I like that. Don't get me wrong, and I'll get into Caledonia in a second because I did like that initially. But the Cathal Valley, uh, it it was a lot more fun than I thought, and we had strong numbers, but we were still outnumbered. We were kind of the underdogs, and we were still able to really hold our own, I thought, and we had some pretty awesome fights. And just having a different map, like that's what I always say. We need, we need diversity, and you'll probably get into that later of like how to change the game to make it more accessible to people.
Yep.
But that's having that different perspective, and hey, let's try this different strategy because we could never do this in New Frontiers, but hey, we could probably try it here because we have a different landscape, a different environment. In Caledonia, I did it for the first maybe two or three. I had an awesome time, and believe it or not, I played. I did a paladin, and I did a merc, and I don't know. I can't do melee in this game. People have trained me. I just can't get the hang of it. But in those events, like I was able to keep up and do it. And then I tried it in like New Frontier, I couldn't keep up. But then I know you guys don't like the Mauler, but I did the caster Mauler, and I was like, I might switch, man. I was like, I might have to switch. That'll be my next character, maybe. I don't know. That was fun. Like I never, because
Yeah.
we had a perfect group coordinated. Every night we had the same group, and I was leading that group. And obviously, people would follow me. I wasn't trying to. I don't believe in the BGs in there. Like I feel like it should just be group by group and more organic fights. I don't like the aspect of someone leading a BG there, but that's just another factor. But having like a perfect group, two sorks and like a debuff for body, we were just mezzing people and just killing the group off one by one. It was just like I've never, I don't usually do the small groups, but that was a really good experience and very fun.
Well,
A few times I did
you
it.
brought up Cathal Valley. Do you have any tunes in there by chance?
Not level 49s, but because that was the event several months ago where you
Right.
bring your 50 in there. I did Molvik. I used to. I had a shaman in there, and I leveled it to 50, and I regret it still because I actually kind of learned the shaman at that level, and I could kind of get some solo kills. I'm not good at solo. I'm not going to say anything about that, but I was able to get a few kills, and it was kind of fun.
Nice.
I don't really do much in the battlegrounds though, other than that was a little bit of time.
Yeah, dude. That one you're talking about in Cathal Valley, like in the beginning, like the Hibs and the Mids were just they outnumbered us like 2-1. That you're talking about that Cathal one, that
Yep,
Cathal event.
that's the one. Yep.
Yeah, and then by the end we were just shoving it down their throats.
Yeah, that was a fun
Yeah,
night.
that was a great night, man. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, so you don't like a lot of solo stuff, but do you ever duo or smally or
So, okay, I used to solo, but like not seriously. Like I would just go out and be like, all right, let me kind of test my build, test my character and abilities.
Mhm.
And I wasn't really trying to go out and win a fight. I was like, hey, I get a few kills here and there. I know it's not an accomplishment, but for me it was because I did a 2v1 organically, and like they were a duo, and I was able to beat them. I was like, no way. And then the guy logged in and messaged me and like, hey, that was an awesome fight. I'm like, I don't know how I won on a smite cleric, but I was able to make it happen. I was inspired by Wove. But anyway,
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's a
um,
really good smite cleric as well. I've watched his YouTube videos, man.
yep,
He
yeah,
blasts.
he helped me pick my that helped me pick my character because oh, I was gonna do a heretic, but you can't do that in this. But anyway, back to your question.
Mhm.
I did a little bit of like small groups, but it was more organic in terms of okay, the BG's over. And, like I think this was probably when Rescue was leading more often. He would kind of just
Okay.
close it out, and people would leave, but then there'd be a few left, and I'd be like, "Hey guys, you want to just form a group?" I had a few core people that we would do that with, and we had some pretty good success. But I just have never, other than Caledonia, was like the most coordinated I ever did it, and that was really fun. But I just
Yeah.
don't really have, those core people that I would run with,
Gotcha.
all the time to really have that set group. I used to, but I don't anymore.
I gotcha. It was the cleric your cleric, is that was that your first tune or is that just the tune that you began to realize that hey, this is my jam. I'm good with this one.
On Endless Conquest, yeah, that was my first character.
Okay.
So I logged in and I was like, all right, I want to be a heretic in Kanu. I know you guys don't like Kanus, but they're
Ugh.
my favorite. I don't know why. It was always
I'm
I
good with
still
the
have
Kanas. I got no problem with them. Go ahead.
I have my my original my first level 50 originally back in the day, he was a heretic in Kanu. He's the first level character I got level 50. I think it was back in the day when you can just like level up to like all the way up to like 30 or whatever by talking to that guy. But anyway,
Whoa.
it is what it is. But yeah, I went in, I made my character, and I couldn't do it because Endless Conquest. I was like, well, I'm not gonna pay for that. I'm just gonna play this as a joke. And then I was just looking at the different abilities, and I was like just reading through the character. A lot of it's out of date, but it was like, all right, well, I'm gonna be a Briton because why not? Just standard. I don't want to. I don't want to be the Highlander. A little too
Uh,
whatever. But then I was like, all right, I don't want to do melee. And I was like,
Yeah.
all right, I like the idea of a heretic. But what's closest to a heretic? And I was reading descriptions like you could do smite abilities on the cleric. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do that. All right, sounds good. Sign me up. So I made my character as a smite cleric, not really knowing anything about it.
So I know that you said that you wanted to make an Nkanu heretic and everything, and you couldn't with the Endless Conquest. But is there a specific type of tune that you will never make? Like, will you never make a troll, a Furby? I know we call the Nkanu the fish people. Is there any like race that you will like
Lurking, horrible.
lurking? So
It should
you'll
be
just
deleted
No.
from the game.
just
It should be
just
deleted.
stay away from lurkings. Okay,
can't-
then.
That's not fair. You can't click on them. They're like the grass is taller than them.
Right.
And go-
That's exactly what I say.
What about the
I think they
Cobalt?
should-
Cobalt the same height.
Hey,
That's the
yeah.
No,
master
they're
race.
they're a little taller, and I do have I love trolls are my favorite race, honestly. If I could be a troll, smite cleric, I would do it. And when Halloween comes out, I'm always a troll. People will see me running around. Trolls are my favorite class, and my first original character was a troll shaman, and I don't know anything about the game at that point when I made it. And if I had to go back and do it again, I'm gonna make a troll shaman. It's like
Bro.
Man,
my favorite.
He's sticking to it. He's sticking to it.
it's thematically it makes sense. Like if you read the lore and stuff, it would make sense that a troll would be a shaman. Like that's because they basically created the shamanic magic of the game. So to
So
me, it makes sense.
when you first started the game, because you're talking about the lore and everything like that, is that how you decided what race you were going to make your classes? It's just based on the lore, or did you like? I want to touch more on that because that sounds interesting to me. Because I mean, a lot of us old people don't really pay attention to like all the quests and read through everything. We just want to level up and have fun. But is the lore what made the game for you, or just the nostalgic, like with your family?
It's mostly that, yeah. But honestly, for like the characters and stuff, like I just like I don't know, the troll just kind of speaks to me. He's like a big rock guy. I'm like that just like when I see the image of that, like that makes me think of Dark Age of Camelot. Like that's the image I see. But also in terms of like the races and stuff, I'm like, well, I kind of like that they're very different from other games, right? Or other fantasy genre stuff, right? Like they're very unique. Whereas like the elf or like humans are kind of more common, dwarves and stuff. It's like I just like the more unique characters in the game that they offer, and like you have so many classes. Like I honestly, you know, I, I'm I'm not the best player by any means, and I'm probably more like Ted Lasso of coming into this game and not knowing half the stuff that most people know, right? And I'm just kind of figuring it out, doing what I can. But I'm just I pick something, I stick with it, and that's that. So
That's a great analogy, though.
Can I get
Dude,
Can I ask a question? This is one on the topic right now. How do you feel about making girl characters?
I had a couple. I have my Reaver, and her name was Timbuktu, which is like when I was reading the history of Timbuktu, it's basically like that was it was named that I forget the exact lore, but Timbuktu was like the name of a woman that something was named after. I was like, oh, I'm gonna go with that. She was an Econo, obviously, Econo Reaver.
I can't
So-
believe it's in.
So I'm not.
All the female characters you made it. Okay, so you obviously don't look because I believe that Jay and Art over here, and I'm sorry guys, but I believe that they just like to stare at ass all. Every single character is a female.
Listen, if I'm gonna stare at ass all day, I'm not gonna stare at a man's ass.
just
Okay,
saying.
I'm gonna watch them big old thighs running,
100%.
boy.
But is it not weird?
Hey,
That's right.
It's a video game, though.
It's
It's a video game.
2023. It's all right.
Right.
Okay.
Hey, if Furbies are
Hey.
allowed in this world, so are anime ass. Okay.
Hey, Tone. Tone, will you tell Tim, like, Tone is into lore also a little bit, and it's so much that, dude, tell Tim your story, man. Tone was in school, and Stonehenge comes up, and they're talking about the lore, or they're researching Stonehenge or something like that, and Tone goes off in class, right, in grade school. What'd you say?
Man, so it came up, and I told them that it was a graveyard with zombies underneath it in the middle of class. I legit thought there was zombies. You know, you see on even back in, I don't know, how old was I? We're not gonna get into my age because I'm too sexy. But anyway,
When dirt was made.
ass. But okay, listen. Excuse my language.
As long as you back it up with saying it was also in Salisbury Plains, and then they'll be like, oh yeah, you read the book then.
Yeah.
You know where it's at. That's where it's at, right?
It's funny. I don't remember that, but knowing my slick mouth, I probably did. But even then, I legitimately thought that there was, 'cause you know the little alien things on TV about Stonehenge and vibrations and all that stuff, right? Everybody watch
Yeah,
that shit.
ancient
Are you talking about
aliens.
ancient
Yeah,
aliens?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Giorgio,
Yeah.
my hero.
Hey, there you go. See,
There you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not alone in this world.
right. There you go.
But I legit think that there's zombies underneath. So I still believe to this day, Jay. Thank you very much.
Because of this game, you're convinced.
I'm
that
convinced.
If we were to
Why
dig
not,
underneath
though?
Stonehenge.
Yeah,
Why
he's
not?
saying this is like The Simpsons.
You don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, you don't know. It could be.
Yeah.
You
Has
can
anybody
either
dug?
confirm or deny.
Neither or.
Oh man. Hey, can I ask you a wild question? I'm sorry, Tim. Did I cut you off?
No, sir.
Nope.
Go ahead.
Tim,
I'm
let me
embarrassed enough.
hit you with one. Dude. I want you to fill in the blanks with this, okay? IRC is blank.
Ooh.
Oh boy.
Oh.
IRC is
Were
blank.
we?
Well, I don't call them that. I say they're the Rat Pack. I don't have any ill will towards them, but it's just like an inside joke.
Man.
I don't have any ill will.
Yeah. Dude, that's so Canadian of you, man. Thank you.
I try to be amicable with anyone, and sometimes they'll chat with me and say something like, hey, we're gonna go here, and I'll be like, yep, let's do it. So whoever wants to work with me, that's fine with me.
So IRC is helpful.
But if I'm fighting against you, I'm gonna go for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool, man.
Oh, so
That's
they
why you make
coordinate
a
with
good
you.
leader, because you're nice to everyone.
Well, you can't just discount people and then they're never gonna, they're not gonna trust you, and the people they know, they're probably not gonna trust you either. So
I like
Gotta
that.
just-
So,
Good guy.
so would you ever try and fight IRC with like a one man or one full
An
group
8-man?
or a two stack, 8-man or a 16? Would you ever do
Uh,
that? Like do
well,
a step fight or no?
we take our BG, and it doesn't always end well. So I don't know about that.
Gotcha.
So
Right on.
So was there anything PvE that you enjoy doing in Deox still? Or
Nope.
is it kind of like
Not at all.
all out the door? Okay, that's exactly what I was.
It was fun when I was leveling and like not really playing it seriously, and then when I got to like the point where I was playing the RVR, it kind of clicked. I was like, oh, this is the game, right? Like the PvE was like cool to kind of get into it and like figure out how to physically play the game and like remember it, and then also like learn the abilities, because it's like they give you a tutorial now, but honestly that didn't teach me a thing.
Right.
I don't think it does that much of teaching you the game.
Yeah,
Really,
they don't teach
it is
you. They
what
don't
it is.
teach you dancing or kiting, so it's kind of useless.
It's fine though, because I kind of like the idea that they just kind of throw you in and you gotta talk to people and figure it out. You know what I mean? Like it's not just handed to you. So I like that aspect of it though.
Yeah, I feel like the PvE in this game is extremely dry compared to the PvP, and it really sucks because back in the day, the dragon raids, the labby
The
PvP,
DF, man.
the
DF
DF,
was fun,
man,
dude. Running Legion raids on the
yeah,
weekends with like 200 people.
yeah, it was
It was
nice.
fun.
Yeah, I don't
Not
have that experience. So for me, it's like, I hear people's stories and like, oh, that sounds cool, but like, I've never been there. I've never seen it. So it's like, oh yeah, cool. But I'm like, I, I think we're fighting the Green Knight for some kind of mount quest last year.
Oh
My
yeah.
smite cleric, I couldn't even hit him. I'm like, why can't I not cast the smite on it? It kept saying resisted. I'm like, I give
Yep.
up. I don't care about PvE in this game. I'm done. There's plenty
So,
of other games that I play that are better with PvE.
so Tim, so you never had to go through like the actual trials of Atlantis, like doing the master levels and stuff like that, or did you always just buy them with BPs? Or did you ever see your
He probably
grandfather?
watched his grandpa, right?
Yeah, did you ever watch your grandpa do the master levels, or because I remember?
I'm sure. I just probably didn't know what they were.
Gotcha, because yeah, that's when you had to have basically a Zerg, 4 to 6 groups trying to kill these master level encounters. So I didn't know if you had any experience with that or not.
I just went in. Although doing the bounty point thing, that was kind of confusing. It's like, oh, you got to talk to this person, give them a token, and give it to this guy. But then, like, there's 6 of them standing there in that room, right? And like, okay, well, which one has Aten's shield or whatever? I'm like, I don't know. I got to keep talking to each person. They're like, you can't give it to them. I'm like, I don't know. I'm just there's like a wall of text, and it's so small. I'm like, I don't know. I'm just gonna keep talking to every person.
Yeah,
That's what I did. Bounty points. I'm like, this was real tough.
Yeah, back in the day, me, my cousin, and my grandmother always used to link up with the boys in Saints Without Mercy, and we used to go run in those dragon raids all the time, man. And let me tell you, it was some of the best times in the world. It would, sometimes it would take 6 hours to do a dragon, and everybody would be fighting over loot, everything else, and the PVE back in the day, in my opinion, was far more superior than what it is now. And I think it might just be, all the gear that we have nowadays, but that really sucks.
Yeah. The tough thing is too, it's like as a caster, you get hit once, you can't cast, especially like if you don't have the insta cast or the quick cast or whatever that spell's called. So it's like
The mock. Yeah.
not even that, but if you're like an actual caster, not a fake caster like me.
Oh, gotcha.
Then you have to get your hammer out. I was like, well, you're not gonna do damage to like alligator. And I did train in Oceanus from like 30 something to 50. Like that's where I mostly train. I fought on those alligators, the scorpions,
Yeah, Bella,
stuff like that. So I was in
dragon
there,
raids
but I
were
didn't actually
incredible
do
back
like
in the day.
the quests,
Oh, that's cool. You were grinding, man, even when like you didn't have to grind. But that's cool.
All right,
Tim, what's the best class in the game?
Besides Smite Cleric.
Class and race or just class?
Just
Just
yeah,
class.
sure. Yeah, class and race, actually. That'd be cool.
Best class.
Best class in the game. If
Say
it helps, you can do like Alb.
Hey man, hold
Yeah,
on. He shitted on Lurrikins. I don't know if I want to hear this answer.
Thinking through. I have to go. If it's Alb, I'll go Heretic. That was my
Heretic, okay.
original first character. That's what I was. I would be a heretic right now if I didn't do Endless Conquest. I'll be honest. Like I'd be a heretic. But it's just a fun, versatile class. It's just very unique to the rest of the game, and especially the rest of the realm. It's like a stark contrast to like the holy warriors and stuff. You're like, using the demonic forces of Iran to cast these fire spells, and it's really cool. And also in the game, it's like it's like the only people in the BG will have Static Tempest will be a heretic, right? And then also with the AoE snare, like I'm constantly calling that. If we have them turning, putting them on. So yep.
All right,
Dude,
so
that's cool.
then what's the worst class in the game?
Let's make it more specific. What's the worst one on Alb?
I've played most of the classes on Albion. I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna answer this from like my experience with it. Okay, so it's probably a very good class.
Don't say it, Tim. I know what you're thinking.
Gosh,
Good.
probably don't. I was gonna say.
Oh, I don't.
I was gonna say. I wish I had a list of them. I was gonna say infiltrator. I
Oh,
tried
okay,
playing
okay.
one, and I was in like one of the battlegrounds. I was like level 12 or something. Just got my Incanu, infiltrator, obviously an Incanu.
Yeah.
Snuck up on this guy. He was just minding his own business, but I tried to do the ability where you sneak and you hit him in the back. And my character somehow missed it, and I lost that fight. I'm like, all right, I'm done. I just deleted the character and I made another character and started over. I was like, I'm done. I can't do stealth. I don't like the idea of just like sitting there waiting. I have to be active in the game. And that's the one thing. What I'll do in the BG, I won't go. I'll say no. Don't kill any solo players. We're a BG. We don't. That's like 30, 50 people against one person. That's
Whoa.
not fair at all. But if I see a stealther, they're fair game. Okay, because they have that ability to stealth up, and if they're in the wrong place, we take them down.
Yeah.
They're spying, so we take them down.
Bird never stealth in front of Tim. Got it.
Hey, if you stand out in the open and you're stealthers out there, listen up, man.
No one listens though. I always say
You don't
kill the
hide.
solo.
You're good.
There was one time where people listened, and it was a very nice moment. Everyone like hugged the Celt, and they were like a savant or something. We kept
Yeah.
moving on our way, and they ran with us. It was kind of a funny moment. But then, but that
Whoa.
was like it's very rare that happens. Most of the time, they just kill the person in one hit. I'm like, and sometimes it's a person in my group. I'm like, hey, what are you doing, man? Come on. I just I get a little bit mad. I'm like, yeah, whatever. It's like I try to stop it. I don't like when it happens, but it happens.
Like your preservation of the game.
Yeah.
You really have a strong
You-
preservation for it.
You have a strong sense of empathy too for others. Like you're concerned about the community, man. And I dig it.
Yep. Better said. Thank you.
Fuck that. I say if it's red, it's dead. I don't care if there's 1 or 100.
You're like, oh yeah,
I mean,
dang it.
100%.
That's what they all say every night, and I'm like, oh gosh, but guys, come on, it's 80 against 1. Like, how would you feel?
Hey, it happens to me, man. Sometimes I'll be a little ballsy
True.
and go up to the hit BG and hit him with Mez poison and then vanish away, and I'll do that probably about 3 or 4 times a night just to
Art's like a dick
Bro.
with it.
Just hit.
We had a
If
Norse
you
do
kill a
something like that. We had a Norse come up. I was like, all right, guys, let's go get your beers, get your stuff, and we were standing outside of Bold, and I got back as soon as I got to my desk. All of a sudden, this Norseman came through and like did an insta mez on everyone around. He was like a stealther guy, and we killed him. But it was like very funny. I'm like, good job, man.
Dude, that's what we do.
Yeah, I do it literally just to break speed
Art.
and vanish out.
We'll do that, and it's hilarious.
By the way, you can always catch Art. He's never stealth.
Never stealth.
Never. He's always running around. Sometimes naked.
I'm an
It's weird.
infomerc.
No, he's just looking at the girls. The booty is what he's doing.
Hey,
I see.
sometimes you get
See.
distracted. All right, let's dig a little bit deeper into the AOC real quick. So scripting, how do you feel about that?
I mean, I just, I got my keyboard. I have my own setups with the cue binds, and that's about that. I don't do anything with scripting. I'm not really sure how it works, honestly. If it's legal in the game, then I guess it's fine. But honestly, it's just like it takes people to a different playing field,
So
Yeah.
You can
so
just
I
kind of.
I went and tried scripting on my my Nightshade, and let me tell you, it took all the fun out of smashing my keyboard in.
Right.
Like there's no better fun than just running around clicking and hitting buttons and trying to move and trying to dance and trying to hit your positionals at the same time. Like it just makes you lazy, and I don't know. I personally, in my opinion, it's trash, but it's legal apparently. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would never do it. I'm like you. I like with my smite cleric at least. I only have to really push like 2 buttons, right? So I have my tab tilde, and then I have 1 and 2 as my stun and my smite. That's most of what I'm doing each night, right? I'm stunning them, and people are assisting me. We kill them. That's all I really need, right? I need the target, I need the face, and then I need the stun and kill. So for me, I'm just like, that's all I need. But it's like, when I started, it was like I was learning the cue binds and stuff from Obelisk. He has some awesome videos, and I know they're probably outdated now, but I learned a lot of like how like the keyboard setup and stuff that he had. So that helped me a lot. And I've realized very quickly that most people were still clicking on their abilities instead of like key binding them to stuff. So I had some lessons with people and taught them how to do a key bind. On Albion, I mean, it is what it is, but some people might not change. But clicking on an ability in a fast-paced game, probably not the best.
Yeah. Tim, you went to a hockey game tonight, right?
Yep.
Is that what I heard? Dude, so would you go to a game where, like, every single time, the players just shot for the goal, shot for the net?
Sure,
Because
fine with me.
it's
Let's do
fine
it.
with you. What I mean, like that's kind of what hockey is. It's just you're always shooting for the best possible outcome. Oh, okay, that outcome's unavailable. Let's go for this. I don't know, man. It just seems a little bit like that'd be a bad sport to watch, but where they're always trying to hit the net, man. But tell us a little bit.
I don't watch a lot of sports, so I can't. I'm not an expert.
Oh,
But
okay.
sometimes
who's
it
your
gets
hockey
boring
team?
when it's like, well, my team wasn't on tonight. Technically, I watched like the amateur league. But
Oh, nice.
it's
Okay.
like it's the local team, but I always root against them. I always root for the away team because I feel like they're the underdogs, right? Because they're getting made fun of and they don't get the respect or attention like the home team.
So kind of
So I'm always
like Alps.
exactly.
Boom.
We just need a third team in there.
Shots fired. I live in Fort Worth, and my favorite football team is whoever's playing against the Cowboys.
Oh, facts. I don't even live in Texas, and it's
I
anybody
can't
against the Cowboys.
Bro, they're all around me, man, and all they want to do is talk about the Cowboys. I'm like, you guys, they're delusional.
Hey,
Yeah, I don't know anything about American football, but I always like call, they're gonna go in the Super Bowl, and they might not win, but they always go to the Super Bowl. So I don't know. I'm like, I should get into sports bet, but I don't like sports at all. I can just kind of look at the jerseys and look at the logos. I'm like, all right, they have a cool color. They're gonna
Oh,
win.
bro, have you
That's
ever
what I
heard
go
of
off
March
of.
Madness? Do you know what March Madness is?
Yeah, at one of my jobs, I had someone. They did a bracket thing, and I lost horribly because I picked
Oh, I was about to say.
I picked by the logos, and I
Yeah,
lost
I was about
horribly.
to say.
I guess
That's how people pick.
that's what I was like, oh, that's a cool logo, and then they lost right away. I'm like, okay, cool. I don't care. I don't like basketball, so it is what it is.
All right, so let's shift things a little bit. So tell us a little bit about you outside of Dayok and who you are outside of Dark Age of Camelot.
Sure. So, I graduated from college. Oh gosh, I don't want to think how many years ago. Probably like almost getting close to 10 now. But ever since I've just kind of been um, working in like digital marketing and stuff like that, SEO, social media. I used to anyway, and now I'm more into like the digital marketing, website design, content writing. So I do a lot of writing.
Oh, nice.
But it works very busy right now for me, and like especially I have a really good opportunity though, where I'm like the company that I'm at now. They've always been a remote company, so I just work from home, right? So
Oh,
it's pretty
you're lucky.
easy. My past jobs, I had to do a long commute, and I was just not about it. And then made the switch, and I'm still here. So I've been in that. I've just kind of I collect a lot of stuff too. I don't really have the room for it, but I have several collections, including like Star Wars, Lego. Got some. I got a big sock collection.
Any
People collect
vintage Star
socks.
Wars?
No vintage. I do like the modern stuff, but it looks vintage because I'm cheap,
Yeah.
and that's all I can afford.
Right on, right on.
But I like the nostalgic, feel of it. And, I just like collecting stuff, just like I do in games. Dark Age though, collecting like I don't. I look at my bank. I don't even know what I'm looking at. It's a mess.
So you say that you like collecting stuff. Do you have like any consoles, like Xbox, original NES, SNES?
I have the original Xbox with the Duke controllers, obviously the best controller ever made. And it has a tendency not to work. It's my second one. The other one just did not turn on, and this one has problems now. But I just like I like the older games. I also have like the Sega Genesis is like one of my all-time favorite consoles back
Okay.
in the day.
Yeah.
Dang, y'all are making me feel like I'm a baby, man. Holy shit.
Bro,
I have the
Sega Genesis?
PS1. Although that I
PS1?
can't get to work. I don't. Some of these consoles they just get so old that I don't know what to do with
Yeah.
them. The dust or something just gets into them that it just does not work.
Something
Bro, did-
with dust and maybe just need like a little
And get a blow on
microfiber. Yeah,
Everybody knows you got to blow on it.
Just
exactly.
Yeah,
blow
but-
it. Yeah,
blow
that's
on
the only way to do it.
I've tried it, but yeah, I've always liked video games. Like I said, I had like a period of like when I was in college, and then like a little bit after like starting work and stuff. Where I just didn't play games at all. But I've always been around games, forever. So that's kind of been part of my identity for a lot of time. And my main game before in when I was at in school and stuff was RuneScape. So I'm coming from like the opposite of a PvP game, right? Like I like the idea of grinding and like earning stuff and like having to make my own character, make my own way, and then work with like a market and like a or more organic marketplace. So coming to Dark Age, it was like I was like I'm not used to fighting other people. I used to play some like first person shooter games, but like I'm not. Other than that, I'm like I don't. It's like a whole new ball game. Starting that when I started this game, it was like night and day from what I was used to. But I've come to like it a lot, like the PvP aspect.
Man, ever play any Altered Beast back on the Sega, the Genesis?
No, no, I never played that one. I know what you mean though, but Golden Axe was the best
Golden
game.
Axe was a great game.
Golden
dude.
Axe 2 especially.
Yeah, yeah.
Just going through and beating that game. And probably one of my all-time favorite games. Probably to have never heard of it. I think it's pretty obscure. That's probably why I like it. Is Dungeon Master from 1987. If you
That's
don't
a
know
PC game.
it was for
Like
the
a tower game?
Atari.
Oh, for
It's
the
for the-
Atari.
But I played like emulators and stuff. If you haven't played
Yeah.
it, play it. It's like a dungeon crawler. It's
Yeah?
a fun game. I like a lot of the vintage games and like older games, more obscure
man.
stuff. But like I said earlier, I like a lot of RPGs. Like I would say, like Mass Effect is probably my all-time favorite game, and
Nice.
it's such a in-depth game that you really have a lot of control over. And so like I said, I'm coming from like that kind of a background of like all these different kinds of games and like RPG focus to this. And it's like I'm trying to make it like more about the story, about like our side of like okay, we have to act with honor because that's what Albion would do, right? Like so it's like I'm trying to like think of it as like role playing a little bit, but like not
Yeah.
as much because it's like at the end of the day like we're fighting this team that they probably don't care. They're just pushing their buttons trying to get RPs. And I'm more about like, all right, guys, how can we win this fight strategically, in like a unique way, and like, have a really good play that we just have a good story to tell, right?
Dude, I dig it, man. I like you, Tim.
Yeah, you're all right. Besides,
Yeah, dude, you're
liking fish
sure
people.
good.
Hey, it's in Kanu, okay?
Sticking up for the fucking fishes. I can't believe it. Who invited this guy into the podcast, huh?
Art.
I'll go back to my troll shaman. That's fine.
Yeah.
No,
My
no,
original
I'll need you, bud. Stay here.
my original troll shaman's actually still level 49. I told my grandpa just
wait.
level it to 50, but he didn't do it.
Nope.
so-
Wait,
Leave
Hold
it
on,
there.
hold on. No,
Leave it there.
hold on. We're gonna circle back to this then, just a little
Okay,
bit.
we got it. You got it.
XP off.
Yeah, XP op. I think Tone wants to ask something, or
He's itching to get at something. Tell him what you got, man.
Tim, how you doing today, my brother? How you doing?
Doing all right. How you
All
doing,
right.
Tony?
All right, I'm good. My man, we had Nate on here last time, right? And Nate has a picture up for his thing, and I told him he's a good looking dude. Now I don't know what you look like, my man, but I think the ladies want to know: are you available? You single?
Not available.
No, you taking?
Yep.
Oh man.
In game or out of game?
What?
Still get married in the game. No, work wife, in game.
I didn't know there was a difference.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, you ain't-
Oh,
hey,
here,
look,
here we go.
I'm getting a glare from my wife right now. You just never let the wife know. All right. All right.
So are you married or girlfriend or?
Yep. Yeah.
Which one?
Husband.
Girlfriend.
Nice.
Girlfriend. Oh, okay.
Cool.
All right. Well, I'll respect your boundaries, then, my friend. But when
Yeah,
it comes,
I was on Ramik's podcast, and me and Ligon were the only ones who did our video, and Hero was just like a picture of a cow talking. It was pretty funny. Oh, and Moy was on camera too. He had his leather jacket and his like sunglasses, and I was like, I should have dressed up for that. I wore like a yellow T-shirt because I was like, I don't have anything gold. You know, my color is gold in the game, so I was like, I gotta get something. But
my
I was
man.
if I had more, because the same thing with that podcast, like this one, it was like so last minute. I'm like, Ramik messaged me at like midnight the night before. I'm like, all right, I'll do it, fine, because Rescue like couldn't do it or whatever at the last minute. I was like, oh, that'd be so cool to have like a gold jacket or something, you know, just to kind of play on the gold a little bit.
My man, when you want to learn how to dress like a Latin lover, just holler at me, all right?
Boy,
I got you on the out game stuff.
copy that, sir.
Yeah.
So, Tim, I know that you said that you're pretty busy, like outside of the game and everything, doing real life stuff. We all understand that. But is there any time that you would consider running a daily LBG?
Even if it is just for an hour, maybe hour and a half.
Yeah, so for me, I did try that, and that was right basically after Rescue quit, and I kind of just was left to take over, right? So I started Wednesdays for a lot of the times I couldn't even go to his because that's just like when the pandemic started, which was basically when I was mostly playing the game, right? Like in 2020 or whatever. I was like, okay, you could go full goblin mode, right? You could just you could just play the game, and there was so many people back then in that summer 2020. That was when it was honestly like almost the best for me. It was like seeing so many people in the game. Like some nights we'd have 100 albs plus. It was amazing. But for me, I got to the point where okay, I did Thursdays to Sundays, and then I just noticed like my following on Thursdays especially was very low, and like the action wasn't that great. So I kind of just I was like, all right, I'm gonna slim it down. That's where I ended up. I was like, all right, I'm gonna do Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and for a while I was doing it very consistently. And in the past couple months, I've just had a lot of stuff come up, and I don't always have the time, but when I do, I try to make the time. And honestly, I think the rest of this year, except for tomorrow, I'll be leading. I'll probably, just be taking off, and then next year I'm gonna try to figure out my schedule more of like, because I play a lot of other games too. So I'm like, I want to still be active in those communities that I'm building there, but still be a part of this game because it's just I never thought I would be leading. It's just cool that I can log in and people are like, "Oh, hey, you're leading tonight." I'll be like, "Yep, here we go. Let's get rolling." So I just never expected it, and I'm just I want to keep doing it to help the realm and help the game, especially because I feel like you said, like there's a couple other people that will try to lead, and I try to help them however much I can. I give them access on Discord to like make announcements and use the chat channels to lead from. But I mean, you're right. It's hard to get someone consistent, and like I said, for me, I just I play other games that I couldn't do it every night, and the most fun I have is on the weekends. Honestly, like that's when the most action happens that I've noticed from playing a couple years, and that's what I'm gonna stick to is those weekends when hey, I can done with work. I don't have to worry about getting up early tomorrow. So, some nights if I'm on and we're having a really good night, I'll stay up till like midnight plus and be down to like about a group or two. But we'll keep it going
Nice.
as long as someone wants to play. I'll try to keep it going unless it's Sunday night. And then if I have work early, I'm like, hey guys, I gotta I gotta head out
Yep.
early here. But it is what it is.
So,
Yeah, take care of you, man.
So what other games do you play?
Right now it's mainly New World.
Oh,
Oh, we're gonna have to
we
talk
know about that,
that
bro.
outside the stream
What
too.
server? What New World server?
I'm on Marama.
Okay.
So I
Which
have
one are we on?
I believe it's
Olympus. Nope.
Eden?
Eden got merged with into Olympus, I believe.
Okay, so
Okay.
we have a free token exchange, so we can go to any server, to be honest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, get
Let's
the
go,
heck
Tim.
over here. I got a guild. That's what I was saying. Like I have a guild. We have about like 30 people. It's Saints Without Mercy. That's what I called it. After
Nice.
Dark Age.
You know,
And
I used to
and
actually be in Saints Without Mercy back in the day, a long time ago.
yes, you're always welcome. That's and that's such a different game from Dark Age. It's similar in some ways, but for me, it's like it goes back to like my RuneScape roots and stuff like that, like the skilling and the grinding.
Mm,
I'm like I said, I'm not like naturally a PvP player, but I would definitely admit like the Dark Age PvP is unmatched for sure. But
100%.
I just like
Yeah.
what I like is like okay, Dark Age is fun, but then like I can't really sit back and talk to people and hang out, right? But in New World, I can just kind of say, hey guys, let's go, do this dungeon. We can just kind of chat through the night and not really worry about being like super optimal. Or I'm the only one talking, like on
Mhm.
most nights on the BG, I'm like leading and no one really wants to say anything. I like people like, talking back and having that conversation and building those communities and stuff like that.
Well, I
There
think
you
that's
go.
what brought a lot of us back to Dark Age is that uh, Dark Age has the best PvP that I've ever played.
Yep.
Like New World, it's it's okay, but New
Yeah.
World has the PvE, but Dark Age,
The dungeons are better there.
yeah, Dark Age's PvP is hands down the
Yep.
best that I've ever played,
For
in
sure.
my opinion. So
Yeah, I'm also I just downloaded Dwarf Fortress. I'm getting into that landmine. I don't know if you've heard of that. It's
Oh, I
pretty
don't know
fun.
that one.
Sweet.
And
We
then
might have to check it out.
Yeah.
one of my buddies got me playing Planet Side 2, which I have a few things that might correlate with Dark Age later if you want to talk about. But it's a first person shooter. It doesn't look great, but it brings me back to my roots because I used to play uh, Massive Action game back in the day. It was a PS3 game, online only, first person shooter, and it was a map of 256 real players at one time, three
Whoa.
realms fighting each other. It's kind of like Dark Age, really. This is the
Whoa.
same thing with PlanetSide. It's like three realms, and everyone's fighting on the same maps, but then the maps kind of switch out, and make that diversity, which I think would help Dark Age if they kind of, hey, today we're gonna do Castle Valley, but hey, this realm wins, we're gonna switch over to this map tomorrow, right? Makes it more, it mixes it up a bit, changes up the
Is
scenery.
is that what you were thinking? Like, because one of our questions is like, what could you do, or how would you improve the game? Is what you just mentioned? Is that something that you think Dark Age could do to improve?
Yeah, for sure. I love the events. I haven't played the last few Caledonia events just because I'm like, all right, you guys have fun. Because I've had my fun with them, and I
Mm-hmm.
kind of lost my core group that I did those with, right? Because I
Oh.
did it about 3 times, and most of them kind of left the game. So we were very optimized, and that was very fun for me. And I can't
Mm-hmm.
really solo in. I keep trying to solo in Caledonia. It doesn't work very well.
No, it's too many. Too
Um,
many.
but so yeah, I think one of the things is the diversity and of the events. Like the Castle Valley was fun. If I can take my 50 character and put it into a different map or a different arena, where
Yeah.
because you're changing the dynamics of the game. Okay, you have the New Frontiers right now, which I kind of am just I think that's what's making me not want to play the game much anymore. I'm honest.
It's just
It's
too
just
immense.
well, it's basically okay. Those who try to defend everything are basically defending nothing, right? You can't
Oh.
do everything at once. You have such a big map, and I log in. I'm not blaming Hero at all. Like I get it,
Sure.
but I log in and Albion's green, and it's like okay, right as I'm logging in, I have that choice. We can port to Bold, which is under siege, and we have one tower left, and they're probably camping it. Or I can say, let's just hold off, and then I'll have like 30 people in Bold get mad at me because I don't go in there. But if I go in there, we all die, then everyone gets mad at me. So I'm like,
Then
all right,
you
well,
can't
there's
win.
not really a good choice. Let them take it, and we'll figure it out. But then we're
Yeah.
starting off from like very, we're starting off on the back foot really, and they know right where we can port. We're gonna port to either Herb and jump off a boat. We're gonna port to Ren's, or we're gonna go through the Mile Gate. So it's like I like having the arena style because it's very quick, very dynamic fights. I think another thing would be buff system of being able to not have like deadhead and stuff like that. Maybe like when you fully release, but maybe when you're like rezzed in the middle, that's fine. But when you're like fully released, you should be ready to just jump in that next fight and
Yeah.
be back in that action. I think that would just make it much more dynamic and more accessible to players. Because I remember when I first started, I didn't know what invigoration was, and I kept getting lagged behind in the BG. I'm like, why? I'm sprinting. Why can't I keep up? And it was like, someone gave me an invig potion. I'm like, oh, I don't know what this is, but thanks. And so it's like little things like that where it's like, if it was just more simplified, just slightly, but it's not. It's not like you're giving someone an advantage, really. If you're putting everyone on the same playing field,
Yeah.
hey, you release, you're fully buffed, you're ready to just jump in back in the action, port in, get back into like. Honestly,
Let's
one of
go.
my
No, no, no. I was gonna say I know somebody that can teach you how to play minstrel. Sure as shit isn't me, but
Oh man, I've never met a bard I couldn't log down one-on-one.
sounds
Oh,
good to me.
sorry,
I'm ready to learn.
bro. Let's go. No, you need to talk to Fat Boy because he's the one putting out those videos. He's got some good content.
Oh, what's the other
Uh,
guy that does a solo minstrel? I'm like,
Yeah.
I wish I could do that, but there's no way. I'm like, he's way above. I'm like, I could not do that, but he's awesome. I forget his name though.
Yeah, I think it might have been him, Fat Boy, or something like that. Yeah.
Since it's my
hey,
personal-
hey, real quick, fellas. I think
Did
the
we lose
Twitch
Art?
stream, yeah, the Twitch stream
Yeah,
went
yeah,
down.
we're back up. We're back up.
All right,
Don't worry
We're
about it.
back.
perfect.
Hey, so since this is my personal favorite class right here, I'm gonna ask this one. What you think about a staff friar?
You gotta get I've never fully played one much. I have a friar, but it's a heal friar. But I do appreciate them, and I know we had one. I forget her name, but I think you know it's hard to tell how much impact they have in a bigger battle scene. And I don't think I've ever. I might have once played like in a smaller group setting with a staff friar, but their ability to be able to heal themselves and heal others as they're fighting, that's such a unique ability, kind of like a paladin, that it gives them that you know resilience.
Without the
Okay.
without the
Okay.
plate,
So
though, man.
And you get the you get the
So-
side stun, right? So
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
we got 3 8-man so far. We got another one for you. How about this one though? How about a melee tick? Is that 8-man or is that overweight, man?
oh boy, I seen someone do very well with that, but I think you should just play a reaver at that point, because you have so many abilities on a heretic that are way better at range. Like
Than
if you need
trying
to
to
hold
melee.
if you need to hold your own, sure, but you should just be a caster, honestly. And you have so much ability with your uninterruptible with range, your whatever Ron's in front, whatever. So
Yeah.
no, I don't know about the. I think it's cool, but
I'm gonna call that an
maybe play
overweight.
a
Man.
reaver. Yeah.
Yeah. Either play a reaver or play a tick the right way. You heard it from Tim right there, folks.
Sorry, guys. I don't...
Very good. Very good. Do y'all want to hit him with a couple more?
Yeah, what do you think about vamps in an 8-man?
Never played with one. I've only killed them, so I can't really fully answer. But they seem pretty tough. All right, I'm gonna say they're not the easiest
They are
to
tough.
kill.
You mean the claw spam?
Yeah, and they're fun to fight against though. It's such a unique class.
They can't get
and
groups though.
I know my grandpa played one back in the day. That's one of the characters I can remember back in the
Oh,
day.
that's
But
cool.
I don't, when we were doing like PVE and stuff. So I don't know that. I feel like it's a cool class, but I've never played
It
one
is.
on it myself. Past level whatever 10 or something.
Are there any
All right,
classes that you would
so-
take out?
What do you mean take out?
Like take out of the game that are like
Like-
too overpowered or rework them
Or
in some
too-
sort?
Too overweight.
Either
No,
they're really
I
bad or really good.
I think the best part of this game is each realm has different classes and about whatever 20 each. Like that's insane if you think about it. Because if you look at other MMOs, like they have like 6 classes, and it's like, oh, they're the same for each realm or whatever faction. It's like that.
Yeah.
That's what's really cool about the game, the diversity of it, and the fact that it all kind of ends up blending together, right? So I would say don't take anything out. In fact, hey, we probably won't do it, but go ahead and add more.
Okay,
That'd be
so
cool. A
now
new race.
the
Or a
next
new
question
class.
that I'm wondering about is there any class that you want to start from the beginning to learn how to play it and take it all the way up to realm rank 12, like not a single class that you've ever played before.
So it can't be one I've played. Okay. That's a lot of them. Jeez.
Just pick one. I
Veil
mean,
Walker. Veil
Veil
Walker.
Walker.
Oh,
There we go.
I have a level 14 one, but that's about all the further I got on any hip character.
Bro, we need to level you up.
That's right.
We'll set this up, man. We're gonna get you. We'll get you up there. We'll stop you at 49.5, man. But we'll
I
get
only
you up
like
there.
it. I only like it for 2 reasons. One, you get the cool scythe, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Second, I can be a Sylvan, which is my favorite hib class. If I had to pick a hib class, I would be a
Oh.
Sylvan.
Lurry, not a Lurry.
Yeah.
We get the
What-
It's
I thought we
expiration
deleted-
resist.
I think we deleted them, right?
Lurry.
Yeah,
Hey.
Lurky's got.
Not yet.
I mean, I still think they're a step above fish, but who's really throwing them? out there?
Major step up.
I love Larry's. I don't know what's wrong with you guys.
Furballs are next to fish.
Hey,
Yeah, Furbolgs, I don't know. Furbolgs are a little weird. They work very
Crazy.
strangely. I think they're probably on the chopping block too, honestly.
My man.
But most
but
of the
a-
hib classes, just get rid of. No, I'm kidding.
Let's
Furby
just get rid of
Veil
the
Walker is
let's get rid of
nasty.
the
We
fucking
gotta-
hip casters.
We gotta have something to target,
Isn't that what we have Hero for?
Oh,
Not when you got 5
Yeah,
healers
yeah.
with you.
Just saying. I mean, he's always on the other end of my. Well, maybe I'm on his other end of his stick, but
Another thing that I can't stand too is almost every single hib class has an extremely long stun. That's what really irritates me.
yeah. There's only one Albcaster class. The Smite Cleric. That's not fair.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, my stuns just sometimes they just don't stick, and it's like, hey, I've got a 9-second stun, and I have 25% duration on my template, and sometimes it'll just be like, oh, 2 seconds are gone. I'm like, what? That's like a caster. How the heck did you do that, man? I don't know. I don't know the intricacies of how the game works, and maybe they're resisted, but it's like sometimes I'm like, okay, you guys stunned me for like 10 minutes, but maybe I need a better stun. I don't know. What I do need on Smite Cleric, I don't care about the ability. I just want it to look cool when I smite, like AoE.
Mhm.
Look like kind of like the hammer. We need like something cool like that. That's all.
Like
That's all I'm gonna say.
hammers, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Like an Alb wine
Yeah.
glass, just pouring down.
Dude,
A wine
pouring
glass.
down the Smite. That'd
Y'all
be
are
great, man.
alcoholics.
Can we just pour ale on our enemies? Like,
Yeah,
you're on
yeah.
something, Tim.
They'll
That's
get drunk.
what a
It'll
paladin is
debuff
for.
them. It'll
No,
debuff
no.
them, and then they'll go super slow.
Let's have a Smite Cleric drop Labatt Blue on everyone.
There we go.
Nice.
The trolls will just lean back and open their mouth. It'll be good.
All right, so we're resurrecting CV. Are you going to stash your 49.5 Veil Walker there with us and run with us sometime, Tim?
And a chamois.
You mean my shaman?
And
Yeah,
Shammy,
if I can figure out how to log into it, yeah, I'll log back in.
Oh,
Well, listen, if
Oh.
you need help with us, leveling you
Listen.
on up, it'll take us maybe an hour and a half, but we can get it done pretty fast.
bro,
Gosh.
bro. We'll work on getting you a temp. We'll shred some stuff. Yeah, we're bringing CV back, brother.
Look, I saw, and this was after. I was just always determined. Like Troll Shaman's like probably my favorite class. Although I really wanted to be a Thane, and that's part of also why I'm a
Oh.
Smite Cleric, because But honestly, Smite Cleric, I can take down a Thane. Maybe not solo, but like I'm kind of solo in the middle of the BG when it's me and him, and we're kind of in our own little battle. I stun
Yeah.
him, Ascendance, he's dead. He can't do a thing. And they don't really. Some of them just don't melee. Like they could beat me if they melee, but I can stand there mock and take them down if I need to, or I can just Ascendance. But anyway, yeah, my Troll Shaman, favorite. I don't know. I've never played it efficiently, but like I've seen people play it pretty well. I must say.
Bro, it's
And
a
it,
cave shaman, right?
yeah, and it's disguising. Like no one's gonna be. Oh yeah, they're a troll. Like, and they're
Yeah, don't fight him.
don't worry about that. They're just a
That's the
tank.
tank. Leave that one later. Yeah. Yeah, dude, we should do that, man. We got to set that up.
That'd be funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're always in CV2, so we can help you out with temp, whatever you need.
Yep. Having
Probably
some fun,
shouldn't tell
man.
the world about this because now they're gonna look for a troll shaman.
Hey, you see a troll shaman,
It's on the hush
just
for a minute.
know he's got 4 others with him.
Bro, listen,
There
man.
you
You know he's coming with the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. So what's up?
I always make the troll as tall as possible too.
Oh, 100%.
That's my
I'm down with
Furbies,
that.
man.
That's right. Hide the smaller people in the group too. So
I
got
made
the
I made a short troll once as a scald, and then I logged in. I'm like, oh, this guy he looks weird. It doesn't seem in proportion. So I remade him as a tall one.
Trolls are already like a little bit like a tick, like a little bitty old head with a big old body. Might as well go full big.
Mm-hmm.
Big
All right.
old bot.
So, what do you think about the solo community? Do you respect it, or do you just let them do their own thing, or do you not get involved with it? Because I know we got a question from the chat, and I know the solo community, as you know, their Discord is kind of toxic.
I've never been in there, so I have no idea. I know
Don't go there.
when I used to solo as like just kind of learning my class, right, and like just trying to get better at the game. Like I'm not like, oh, I'm gonna get out there and win. I'm just like, I want to just figure out my character, and like push to the limits. And I fought a lot of tough people, but it's like I would go to some of those towns and like sometimes I would just have like people be running around like it's like weird because it's like, oh, there's a kobold and there's also a lurkine next to each other not fighting. I'm like, well, this is weird. And I kind of got it right away. It's like, okay, I get the vibe, like they're probably like chatting with each other and like setting up the fights, but like so it's like more of like a duel setting. But for me, it's like I'd rather, like, if I'm out there soloing, which I don't at all really. I used to dabble in it. I'm not good at it
Mhm.
at all. But it's like I'd rather just run out there and like have an organic fight, find someone. Like when I got my Thane level 50, I was like, all right, let's just solo. Let's try it out. I don't think I won a fight, but I got pretty close. And I was like, I don't know, I can't do it without the stun. But I was like, all right, I'm gonna do a stun with the shield smash, and then try to just smite this guy. There's like a realm rank 1 thing. It was fun, but it was like, I'm not gonna get anywhere. But solo, it's just like I said earlier, in terms of the BG, if I see someone solo, I'm not gonna chase them. I'm gonna tell people to just leave them alone. It doesn't always happen, but for me personally, if I'm in a BG or a bigger group, I don't want to go after a solo person. I think they're just doing their thing and they're playing their own game, which is a bit separate. And I do appreciate the people that are solo in the BGs, like they won't group up, but they're like at that level of skill where they can just be solo and still really help a lot and keep themselves alive. And it's really cool to see them play like that. And it's like cool, yeah, let them do what they want to do. They do great. Like I know heck is that Smite Cleric, what's his
Wove?
I'll think of it like no. Oh yes, him, but it was Respect Me. Because he would always be
Like,
solo.
wee.
Yeah. He's always solo. And it's just cool that he's like in there with the BG, but he's like, he's just doing his thing. But it's it's cool that you can have different dynamics of a BG and have a solo, and you can have a smaller group, and all of that kind of blends together if you're in the same area, right? And hey, you're probably doing your own thing if you're solo, but then you can still contribute. And it's kind of cool that everything ends up working that way.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah.
So, is there anything that you can think of to like improve the community of Dayok? Like maybe get more population. You know how like all these free shards are out there, and then there was a rumor going around about them trying to get it on Steam, and then it's not working. And I think what I'm trying to ask is, do you think there's any way that they can advertise or make a change to where our population will grow?
Yeah, I think Nate went over most of it yesterday, but I would say the one thing would be, other than marketing, obviously, which I feel like it's tough to really figure out who you're trying to target for that. right? So there's a lot that goes into it. It's not just like an easy push a button. Yep, okay, it's gonna show up for these people. Like it's a rough game. I've done Google Ads marketing jobs, so I kind of get that. It's very complex, especially for like a game that's very niche. And if it's not on
Mhm.
Steam, I feel like if it's not on one of the big platforms, it's just gonna be tough to get any traction because you see something on Steam and there's like a ad for it, or like someone's talking about it in a video, like a like a streamer or like a YouTuber. And they'll like review it or something, or they'll the video. People are gonna look into it and they're gonna play it, and they like it. If they like it, they'll stick around. So I think more of like content creators actually playing the real game. Like I've seen some videos where like this guy he like does MMO videos, but he just like goes through a low level process where you see zero people, so it makes it seem like the game is dead, right? They don't actually go in and do RVR or play fit level 50 and talk to real people, so they're missing like the main part of what the game is. So
Right.
I think it needs, in addition to all that, it just needs to be like an easy entry level playing field. Like I don't I get the whole leveling system, but at this point it's like, hey, you should just be able to learn your character, and then when you're ready to just be 50, you just push a button, you're 50,
I
and you kind
agree.
of just your abilities. It's just like right now you have to pay like $50 or something. That's pretty crazy
Yeah, that's a
to have
cash
to
cow
do
move
that.
in my opinion.
Like I know it's easy to level, but it's like why? Like you want to get people playing the real game right away. If you just hold them back, they're gonna like log in like I did, and I stuck around for obvious reasons. But it's like a person picking it up for the first time. They're playing it, trying to level. You doing the quest, and it's like, oh, I see like a macro group running by like of 30 people. I'm like, that's really weird. Like it seems like it's a dead game. And
Hmm.
then you go into RVR, and it's like hundreds of people fighting. It's like, oh, it's not dead. There's a lot of action going on. So it's like a whole different game. It's like, why not just streamline it? Hey, jump into the action. You might not do great, but you're gonna be able to play the real game. You're gonna get experience. You're gonna meet people right away and have that sense of community. The other thing is like, I think there needs to be a way of, and I don't know what the format would be right off cuff here because I'm kind of just thinking of it now, but it's like a way for people of all realms to be able to talk to each other.
Yeah, that
And
would be dope. Like,
because
give them an island.
it's like okay, New World does this. I'll bring New World back into it. Like you have three factions, right? They're all
Hmm.
warring with each other, but then at the end of a war, people will say like, "Oh, good job," to the other realm. Like, hey, maybe they lost, but they say that's a nice fight. Like, great job, guys. Then it's like, okay, you're changing the perspective because right now you have everyone on an island by themselves. And they're like, "Oh, the Hibs are cheating. They're doing this cheat or whatever." People are always going to say people are cheating. Like, I don't ever buy into any of that. Or people are saying, "Oh, they're spying." Except for one time, I don't believe it. But anyway, it's like people are just like in these own islands talking to themselves basically, and to like the people that are gonna agree with them, right? Like kind of like media. You're gonna hear what you want to hear, right? So
Yeah.
if you have everyone able to just be like, "Oh, hey, that was an awesome fight, guys!" Like if I was able to, I know we have Discord, Dark Age, but like I know most, especially Albs, don't even want to get on Discord. They're not part of that conversation. And I feel like it's like there's not like if it was like in game, there's even simple like that. It's like, hey, like I know with like people complain about like people cheating and spying and stuff, but the fact is like there just needs to be a way for like community with their other realms, because honestly, people need to have more respect for the other BG leaders, the other group leaders, because people will say, oh, they're just cheating, or oh, they're just ruining the game. Like, I know Hero does what he does, and I still respect him. People will say like, "Oh, he should just quit," or "Oh, when he was banned that time, like they were like, oh, this is the best part of the game now." It's like he's gone. It's like no, you need that balance of
Yeah,
all
but
the realms.
Hibs were dead at that point. Whenever Hero wasn't on, they didn't have a BG. But now,
They logged a bit.
Right.
yeah,
It's like, well,
Yeah.
then where's the game, right? Like, you're missing
Yeah.
that whole element. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, Albs are obviously the underdogs, and maybe part of that's for me. It's like I am not the best at like forcing people to play a certain class, or I'm not super strict. I'm just like, hey guys, let's just have fun, do what you want to do, but like let's try to be somewhat strategic, right? And so we're not as like, we're not as like tooth and nail as like the mid guards are. So it's like we're fighting an uphill battle, but it's like when we win, it's like we're on nightmare mode, right? Of like Diablo or something. We're on like the hardest difficulty. I would say that's how I describe it a bit. Sometimes it's like,
Yeah.
Hell
all right,
mode.
And that
we're,
makes sense. So,
but it
But-
makes it fun. It's like if it's not a challenge, then it's not fun, right?
so
least
do
for
you
me.
think that like if you, Hero and Legion were like talking together, you know, like doing the respectful things, saying, "Hey, good fight" and all that stuff, do you think that would uh make the community a little bit better, or do you think it's just certain people that are toxic?
I think I think in some ways it would help a lot, just because it's not just like the leaders; it's like anyone. It's like, hey, like that was an awesome fight, guys. Good job, and then you can just kind of sit back and reflect on that fight, and just kind of
Gotcha.
chat about it as like a casual thing, and not be like super focused in the fight, super focused in the game, and super focused on being negative. Because if you're talking to someone, yeah, on the internet, sure, people could be like very rude, but if you're okay, let's just change it a little bit here. You're instead of like on region chat, which I've had to turn off so many times because people just get on my nerves. But anyway,
Oh,
um,
we've all been there.
We know.
Yeah,
We know
we've
that
all
person.
been there. So,
so
but
basically, and I've figured out slashing. But anyway, so it basically it's
yeah,
like give people that common space that's accessible to everyone, that you can just say, hey, that's an awesome fight, guys, or how the heck did you do that? You know what I mean? Like just this fun organic conversations that could happen, and
yeah,
it's just like a side conversation. But like I'm saying, like I feel like when I'm leading, I'm not really having a full conversation with my group or with my G, because it's like we're on, you know, focus mode the whole time. I feel like we need like a more community and maybe more like events. And like honestly, it's sad, but like the most respectful events are obviously like the funerals and stuff. Like seeing everyone come together for those and just be respectful and not fight each other. You can just be right next to mids and hibs, and obviously it's a very tragic time, but it's like those are those moments where it's like this could be part of the game where we can come together, and it doesn't have to be that format, but it's like what are other ways we can do that? Like maybe there's like a I don't like PvE in this game, but hey, if they make it somewhat good, let's have like a mega boss that once a month you guys have to
or
fight, and then you get like a random drop, but you have to fight together to win, right?
so something that we talked
That's the
about
crossbusters.
earlier. No, but something we talked about earlier that I don't think you ever witnessed was the ML10. So if you can do like the ML10 dungeon with all three realms, you know, and if they made that super hard, all three realms have to combine to fight it. I think that would
Oh, like
be,
a hairstyle?
yeah. Seems like something would be worth looking into. So
Yeah, I mean, if you use your same assets that you have, and if you can just tweak things to make it like, okay, you can be on the same, like you're not going to be an enemy, kind of like a Harris, right?
You
It's
bring
like
more people together like
like
that.
I said, I hate PVE in this game, but if it's like kind of like the rabbit event or like the mount event from last year, it's like
Right.
random, but it's like a little bit fun because you're doing something different. It's like everyone
Yeah.
comes together, like, oh, this month for like the whatever event. Maybe it's just like once a year, like every other
Cool.
like every 6 months or something, something like weird like that, where it's like,
that'd
hey,
be
get this mount, get this free mount, but you have to work in with other people on the other realms, and it's like, all right, maybe you're not super coordinating with them, but you have your BGs there, and you're like, all right, guys, we're gonna move in. We see the hibs going that way. Let's go the
yeah,
other way. You know what I mean? Like you can have some like dynamic stuff going on.
yeah. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
honestly, I don't think we've ever heard anybody say anything like that so
Yeah.
far, and I've asked quite
Yeah.
a few people this same question, and that's really fucking good. We might have to bring that up whenever we get some certain people on here.
Yeah. I mean, right now, the only people that are talking back are the ones that switch realms and flame you, or the ones that get into those Discord channels and just flame everyone instead of saying things like, hey, man, good job. There's very few people that are doing that.
Yeah, that's and talking about the instant switch now, like when that happened, I just kind of don't read the news anymore in the Dark Age, and it just kind of happened. I'm like, oh, why are people leaving my BG when I'm going after the relic? And, like everyone's on the hib now. I'm like, wait, now we can't get the relic because there's like more hibs than
Yeah.
albs. So it's
Yep.
like, all right, now if I say I'm going to take the relic, we're gonna say like, oh yeah, go get the relic, go get the relic, and then I see them log off. I'm like, wait a second, I see what you're
Yep.
doing. So it's like, oh man, what? It's like why I don't know. It's just like people don't have that realm pride. I think, and obviously I only play Albion, and I know most people probably play all realms. It's just like I feel like the realm pride part. You stick with your realm and your characters. And it's not for everyone, obviously, right? Like, but it's just like it's different if you have that perspective of like, all right, I'm just only gonna play this realm. You're gonna play a different way than if you switch realms. You're like, all right, I don't care about my realm right now. I mostly just care about my character. I'm mostly caring about realm points. Like, you're not really caring about the community of the game. You're mostly caring about yourself.
True.
Just switching all the time and like, oh yeah, let's just. It looks like there's more Hibs. Let's join them quick. Here, log over, and then be on the winning team.
See, Tim, that's why you're the one. That's why you're the galvanizing force, man, because you're meant for Albion. You're meant to bring this together. You're meant to do that. So because of the way you think. So thanks for being here for Albion, man. Especially, man, thanks for being here tonight with us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks for showing up and talking with us, man. It was insightful, a lot of fun. Enjoyed talking with you.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys bringing me on. Like I said, I saw your first episode literally the day that you messaged me, Art, and I was like, oh, that's cool. There's a podcast because I was always thinking in the back of my mind, like I kind of want to do a podcast about Dark Age or
Yeah.
something like that, or like a documentary or something. And then you guys started this. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. So I appreciate you guys starting this. I think it'll be really cool once you get it amped up and out there more.
Yeah. We want to bring you back sometime, man, and chat some stories too.
Yeah,
Anytime, let me know.
We appreciate you jumping in with us, even though it was last minute. We had some things going on in life. I just had
Art, what
I
was
just had
going
a
on,
kid,
dude?
man. Just had a kid.
Art just had his first.
Hey,
congrats.
congratulations,
Hey, what's up, Papa
Art. We already
Art?
knew
Yeah.
that.
Congrats, man.
Attaboy. Congrats on the sex.
He had it once, and there's
Yep.
a kid now.
Yep. Yep. I appreciate that, fellas. All
Yeah,
right,
we love
Tim. I think we're gonna call it there. I'm gonna drag you into the waiting room because I do got a few things to talk to you about outside of the stream, though. But I do appreciate you taking the time out of your day last minute. But I'm glad we got you in, man. This was a hell of a podcast, and
Yep, Tim, you're
couldn't
good,
Hey,
dude.
glad to be here. Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
and that was an awesome interview, brother. Thank you again for coming on.
Anytime. I'll catch you guys on the flip side, all right?
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sounds good.
All right, boys. If you want to hop over there and talk to him, I'm gonna close it out. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining. I'm sorry about the crashed stream earlier. If I didn't get to your questions, I apologize. Slice, I will be asking him about that the low RA, and I'll get back to you since I got you on Discord. But I do appreciate you guys stopping in and chatting. Make sure you guys leave a follow. It would greatly appreciate it. This will be on YouTube as well. YouTube is linked down below. Twitter, the Discord if you guys want to go ahead and hop in it and maybe meet some new people that you don't really talk to. But it was a good one, guys. I appreciate you all for stopping by, and we're gonna go ahead and close it out there. So see you guys next week with another podcast.